The first question, Bhikkhuni, is on Samma Sati. Can you please explain Samma Sati and how to practice Samma Sati in day-to-day life?
Okay, Sati is translated as mindfulness, but the mindfulness that people talk about is of two kinds. Sihiya and Satya are two different things. Because mindfulness to some uh, with Sihiya, you can use to do anything wrong. With with mindfulness, you can kill or steal or do any misconduct. That is not the mindfulness. That is not the kusala chitta. Here, Buddha speaks of mindfulness, which is a kusala chitta, and that is sati. Sati and sihiya are two different things. Sati is mindfulness of kusala. Sihiya is what you generally have all the time. You can recognize things and uh, you can remember things. That is sihiya. But sati is a special quality. The satipatthana, that is the four uh, satipatthanas like body contemplation, uh, feeling contemplation, mind contemplation, and mind objects, that is, objects of the mind you contemplate. So that is satipatthana. That is also called vipassana. It is a special technique of the Buddha. Nobody has ever said it before, that these four satipatthanas are entirely kusala, and that is contemplation of the body, where your movements of the body, you know how you are changing your postures, you know when you are walking, you know when you are standing, you know when you are seated, you know when you are lying down. Be mindful of the postures, and also be mindful of all the activities, bodily activities. Anapanasati also is a bodily activity. So be mindfulness of bodily activities. What you are doing with your hands and feet, how you are working, be mindful. That is body contemplation. Then you can also think of the body in terms of Pataviya Apoteja Vayu. That is also body contemplation. Say, for instance, you are taking a cup of tea and then you can feel Pataviya Apoteja Vayu in that. You can see the touch of the cup, and that is Patavi. Apo is the watery content, the tea. Tejo is the heat of the tea. Vayu is that there is air inside your mouth and in your throat. That's why you can swallow. So you can see the nature of your tea. Normally, what you do is you just gulp down the tea and enjoy the taste. So even if you enjoy the taste, you can still think the taste lies only in the mouth. The moment you swallow, there is no more taste. So like that, the body contemplation is called a deep reality you see about the body. Then Vedana or feeling contemplation is understanding the good feelings, bad feelings, neutral feelings. Then not become a victim to that. Lots of people, they don't understand that the feelings can make you miserable. For good feelings, you can develop craving, and then when the good feelings are not there, you can develop anger and resentment. For bad feelings, they come with anger and resentment, and when they are gone, you feel happy. So feelings are very important. Neutral feelings are there all the time, and you are having not greed or hatred, but ignorance. So if you know it as ignorance, if you know it as greed, if you know it as anger, then feelings cannot overpower you. Then you see that feelings come and go, and you don't take feelings seriously. You allow them to come and go without becoming angry or without becoming attached to good things. So that is feeling contemplation, very short, but there are also satipatthana, mindfulness towards the nibbana. So sati is nibbana oriented. Sati is not mundane. Sam. Sriya is mundane, that is being mindful of daily living. But this is being mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feeling, then mindfulness of thought. When the thought arises, then also you have to be mindful. Now I have an angry thought. This angry thought is hurting me now, and it will hurt me forever because I make bad karma because of the angry thought. So you become aware of your thought. If you have a jealousy, then you know I am jealous now. Because of the jealousy, I am suffering now, and in the future I say and do things, and then I get into trouble. So if you have thought of greed, you know that you are greedy or selfish. All those mind states you have to recognize and throw them away and get out of them. That is chittanupassana, that is being mindfulness of thought. So those who are having chittanupassana or mindfulness of thought, then they can control their emotions and not become victims. For instance, if they know they are angry, they can not speak, and they can understand that the anger must be got rid of, that it is your own fault that anger has arisen. So if you are proud, you must know, now I am proud and selfish. Then you won't speak and do things to hurt others. So mind states, if you know, that is satipatthana. So if you know objects of the mind also are related to things like nivarana, bojjhanga, all those things, good and bad both, that also you have to understand the mind states. So mind objects are also satipatthana. So it's a very long sermon, but for this purpose, we have to understand this mindfulness. Sati is satipatthana, that is kayanupassana, uh, contemplating on the body, contemplating on feelings, contemplating on mind states, chitta, and contemplating on things that come to the mind from outside. So, uh, when people hurt you or people speak well of you, you can become proud or you can become angry. So, all those things are mind states which you have to see and understand as defilements of the mind and get rid of them. If you don't know it, then you live with it and you become a victim to the defilements and you make bad karma and you will never get into the path. So, these satipatthana will steer you properly on the path, mindfulness of the four foundations satipatthana. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhikshuni. I move on to
Yes.
the second question. Um,
Yeah.
when we hear a sound we don't like and we get angry, we react to that with our entire body. Like we close our eyes, we say things, we walk away, start sweating, etc. How does this happen?
Yeah, that's a very deep question. Just one sound can completely disorient the entire body. For instance, if you hear a bad sound, somebody scolding you, as soon as you recognize the sound, you can get angry, and that anger will spread all over the body. It's a scientifically, if you see it, the electromagnetic field that arises because of the sound. That electromagnetic field reaches every cell of the body. So the anger has reached every cell of the body. And it has gone to the face and mouth and hands and feet. So it is not a simple thing that the Buddha has discovered. In scientific terms, it is true because they have understood that these things have a tremendous electromagnetic field between the body and it reaches all over. Just like that, a thought of metta also will have an electromagnetic field which will reach every cell of the body. So you are getting angry and having metta are two different things that can either destroy your body and cells and make you sick and commit all kinds of wicked things, and also a good thought, being generous, kind, mindful, being all the good attributes can reach every cell of the body and you become beautiful in your face. The cells become healthy, and then you become relaxed and you don't rush and do things. You you do things mindfully and do things to the best advantage for yourself and for others. You don't hurt others. Like that, this electromagnetic field that arises because of sound, because of sight, sound, smell, taste, bodily touch, and memory. All these things, as soon as they arise in the mind, this field, this electromagnetic field transmits that energy to the entire body. So this is not a simple thing and it is scientific, and the Buddha is such a genius to understand that not to indulge in wild, wicked, evil things, but to indulge in good and noble things for your own benefit and for the benefit of others. So Buddha is the one who has been so scientific to explain in every sutra the Buddha speaks of defilement in the mind that must be got rid of. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhikkhuni. Any questions?
Yeah.
Right. I'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
There's much discussion on abstaining from eating meat, becoming vegetarian. What has the Buddha said about this? Can you please explain?
It was asked by Devadatta, and the Buddha said, no, there is no such thing. That Devadatta wanted Buddha to uh, ask everybody to give up eating fish and meat and animal flesh. Buddha said no. But Buddha has said you can eat it, but you can't kill. They are two different things. Killing and eating a dead carcass is different. Killing means you have to have anger in your heart. You have greed and anger and so many things to kill and eat. But if you just go to the market and buy some dead carcass and eat it, it is not the same as killing. So the Buddha said, don't kill, but the Buddha said, unless you know very well that it has been killed for you, then don't eat it. So, if you know that it has not been killed specially for you, that is called Trikoti Parishuddha Mansa. That is, you have not heard or seen anybody or someone has not killed it purposely for you. Then there is no big deal, except of course there is tanna in eating anything. Okay? If you know how to get rid of tanna, that is what is necessary. Greed for food. So you eat in moderation and then you enjoy uh, whatever you eat, good or bad. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Vikshini.
Mm.
I'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Uh, in this ever-changing life, how do you describe vissāsa+paramā ñātī? Isn't vissāsa another word for Kalyana Mitra, the one who guides us to Nirvana?
Not really. Vissāsa paramā means that if you have confidence in somebody, he will always come to your help in distress. He will keep your secrets. He will not insult you. He will not speak badly of you. He is fond of you. Such a person is vissāsa. That is, you have confidence in that person. He doesn't let you down. But he doesn't necessarily become a Kalyana Mitra. Kalyana Mitra is a different person. Kalyana Mitra is one who shows you the correct path, the eightfold path, who tells you this is wrong, this is good. He doesn't agree with you all the time. When you are wrong, he comes and says, that is wrong. So Kalyana Mitra helps you on the path. So there are two different things. So the good friend may be a Kalyana Mitra, may not be a Kalyana Mitra. If he is a drinking friend, he will ask you to go for a drink, but he is a good friend. If he is a robber is your good friend, then he will ask you to join his robbery. Like that, just because you have confidence in a friend, he doesn't become a Kalyana Mitra. Kalyana Mitra is one who shows you the path to Nibbana. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. The next question is, isn't the entire eightfold path focused only towards Nibbana and not about achieving success in daily life? For example, Real Samma may not bring much worldly success to our daily life. Please explain.
Daily life, yeah, that is true to an extent, but not entirely true. Sammaditthi as Lokottara Sammaditthi and Laukika Sammaditthi. That is, the mundane Sammaditthi, the mundane right view, is that when you give dana, you get good results, you get ping and merit and all that. And ordinary people have that. That is the mundane Sammaditthi. But the supramundane Sammaditthi is to understand that nothing belongs, that all these things are anitya dukkha anatta, they arise and pass away. And if you know the Dhamma properly, that is the Lokottara Samadhiti that Buddha is speaking about. So that takes you along the path. But that doesn't mean that you are going to decline in your worldly affairs. Just because you know that nothing belongs, it doesn't mean that you are going to give away all your house and property and become a recluse. Only thing is that you know that nothing belongs, then you don't fight and make trouble for others. But that doesn't mean that you can go to court of law and there is a worldly law. You can go to law and then try to solve your problem, or you can go to the police station. There is a worldly police security, so you can go and solve your problems without fighting and taking the power into your hands and dealing with the enemy. So once you know nothing belongs, you won't become proud and haughty and angry, and you won't think this is my wish, this is my wife, this is my car, this is my property, this is my house, and you won't go to fight with the people around. But you can always go to law, or you can go to somebody, and in an amenable way you can solve the problem. So the worldly law is there. The Buddha always said, respect the worldly law. So there are law courts, then there is the police. So there are many things that you can go to solve your problem without taking the power into your hands and trying to believe this is my house, this is my wife, this is my husband, my children must obey me. That kind of me, I, and mine is given up. And then people are, such a person is easy to live with. So the mundane world is also covered with the uh, with the supramundane uh, right view. So the Buddha's right view covers all mundane work also. Then, Samma Sankappa, loving kindness, is right thinking. So, right speech is Maitri Kaya Karma. So, your speech and your thinking becomes good, which is very useful for mundane living. So, the entire Eightfold Path covers mundane living as well. So your behavior, your attitude, your mindfulness, all that is useful in daily living. Your Samma Sati and understanding your mind and knowing that you are angry and not taking up revenge, all those things are very useful for daily living, not only for supramundane, and also at the end of it, you become so good and noble that you can easily uh, sit and concentrate your mind on the on sati and samadhi. Samadhi is concentration of the mind. That samadhi, the eightfold path, can be achieved only by a person who lives the righteous life according to the Satipatthana. In the mundane world, if he lives according to the Eightfold Path, he is sure to understand, able to become concentrated and realize Nibbana. But a person who does not uh, live the Eightfold Path, then he is uh, not noble. He can be easily turned anywhere, and then any friend or anybody can take him and make use of him on the wrong path. So Eightfold Path covers entirely the mundane and the supramundane state. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhikkhuni. I think you did somewhat give an explanation to the last question. I'll ask anyway. Is letting go the only solution to freedom from body and mind? But how can we let go of our responsibilities?
You can't let go your responsibilities. You have to do your responsibilities as far as such things are necessary or possible, because there is no limit. Sometimes the responsibilities are heavy, sometimes they are less. So you have to know how much you can do and how much you cannot do. So it is your discretion. Responsibilities you can't give up. You have to, because if you don't keep to your responsibilities, that means you are not even a human, you are evil. You can, when you have some responsibility, supposing somebody is dead on the street, it may not be your responsibility. If you can help, you may help. If not, you can go away. So that's a very loose term, this responsibility. One has to find out what you are responsible. You are responsible to your neighbors, you are responsible to your relations, you are responsible to your friends. So it depends on how much you can do. There, it must be only things that you can afford. Just because you are responsible, you can't do things which you cannot afford. Physically, financially, if you can't afford, you can't take the responsibility. So I think it's a matter of discretion. So responsibility is a loose term. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhikkhuni. Those are
Yeah.
all the questions we have for today.
Yeah.
What are we going to do today? Because we did the Buddha guna and Dhamma guna some time ago, we couldn't complete Sanga guna. Shall
Yeah,
we do
that
that?
that would be good if you can speak the Sanga guna. We couldn't finish it. Okay.
Right. So I have the translation that Venerable Bhikkhuni has done, and I have the book with me. I will read it out. Is that all right?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Let me start. Sanga guna, virtues of enlightened Sanga. Buddha's disciples are the Sanga. Bhagavato Savaka Sango. There are 9 attributes. Yadidan Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala. The 8 noble men are the ones established in 4 Magga Phala. They are the Arya Savaka. They may be lay.
Yeah, suddenly
Male and female.
we didn't hear a few words of what you said. They may be lay people or ordained people. They may be men or women. They are Atta Purisa Puggala means the 8 noble men. They are the ones Sotapatti, Maggapala, Sakradagami Maggapala, Anagami Maggapala, and Arihat Maggapala. There are 8 of them. The Buddha says they are the real Savakas. Okay? Atta Purisa Puggala is those 8 people.
Right. Then they go as Purisa, meaning male, the 8 men. We venerate the ordained Sangha with the belief that there may be Arya Sangha among them. Shall I continue?
Yes, they are really the Sammuti Sangha. Sammuti Sangha is they appear to be Sangha, but they may not be Arya Sangha. So it is the Arya Sangha, the 8 noble men that have all the qualities of Supatipanno, Ujjapatipanno and all that. But you can't expect that from Sammuti Sangha. So there may be 1 or 2 or at least among the Sangha, the ordained community, who are Arya Sangha, who belong to the 8 noble men. Atta Purisa Puggala. They are the ones who have the qualities of the Sangha that the Buddha speaks about. Okay?
Right. So that is what Sangha means, a community. There are 4 communities, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika. Any one of the community could be Arya Sangha who have the specific virtues of sainthood. By taking the 3 refuges, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, one becomes a disciple of his own conviction because of listening and comprehending the Dhamma. Magga Phala are 2 thought moments that arise and pass away consecutively. One Magga thought and one Phala thought. Hence, akalika, without any time lapse in between. It is timeless.
Magga Phala are 2 thought moments. Magga is the last step on the Magga. Phala is the first step of the Phala. So, path and fruit. Magga Phala are 2 thought moments. Then the Magga is one of the Purisa, Phala is another Purisa. So there are 2 individuals. One who is on the Magga, that one thought moment, and Phala is the one who has achieved the fruits. So Magga Phala are 2 thought moments, consecutive 2 thought moments. Magga is the last step of the Magga. Okay?
Okay, it goes on to say, Bhikkhuni, later commentators say that Magga is an individual who starts training on the path. But this is not tenable because it is timeless, akalika, meaning that there is no time lapse in between Magga and Phala. Later commentators also say that the dispensation will last only 1000 years, because females have joined the order. This is not tenable either, because the Buddha has assured that the dispensation will last so long as disciples maintain the practice, and the world will not be free of arahants. Na sunyato loke arahantehi.
That is, the Buddha has said that so long as people practice, there is a possibility to become arahant. So there is no time limit for the dispensation. So now is an ideal time for us to practice, because we can always get into this Magga Pala. Okay?
It is over 2500 years since the Buddha passed away. Therefore, the Dhamma written down must be scrutinized with circumspect. The Buddha has said in the 4 Apadana, do not believe by hearsay or just because it is written in books or said by masters, etc. The pristine Dhamma is not contradictory.
It's not contradictory. The Dhamma is never contradictory. No science can ever disprove the Dhamma. Okay?
Okay. So I'll move on.
Yeah.
One must believe only if it is factual, not contradictory, logical and acceptable,
Yes,
intellectual.
one must believe only if it is logical, factual, and you can understand it, and it is not contradictory. So because even the written word and what the interpretation over the years can be not the same as the original Buddha word. So you have to be very circumspect. What is the Buddha word? This does not look like Buddha word. It happened to me many times when I was doing Vinaya, Bhikkhuni Vinaya, and I found many interpolations by later masters, because they were against the Bhikkhuni order right from the time that the Buddha passed away. So they interpolated different things. When I did the research, I realized so many contradictions in the Bhikkhuni Vinaya. Then I pointed them out, but they are in their authentic texts. So I never believed that I will get a PhD because I am contesting their authentic texts. But finally, they did believe that I was right. Okay.
Sadhu. Right. The 9 attributes of the Arya Sanga are Supatipanno, Ujupatipanno, Nyaya Patipanno, Samichi Patipanno, Ahuneyo, Pahuneyo, Dakhineyo, Anjali Karaniyo, Anuttarang, Punyakettang, Lokasati. I will start with the first one, Supatipanno. Patipanna means the practice, pratipatti. The disciples of the Buddha practice higher virtues such as Adisila, Adichitta, Adipanya. They keep to the precepts of practice that take them on the path to Nibbana. There were others who practiced rituals such as living as a dog to give up craving, by eating from the ground, walking on hands and feet, doing penance. But because their thinking and behaving is dog-like, it is of wrong view, and hence they were born as dogs or in hell, said the Buddha. There were others observing different types of rituals, sila vruta. The disciples of the Buddha practice samatha vipassana and keep the precepts of practice for the ending of craving, The Sotapatti gives up the fetters. Vissāsa+paramā is that kind of ritual of other masters. Shall I move on, Bhikkhuni?
Yes, then there are those Nikantayas who lived naked ascetics. They also thought by giving pain and suffering and not wearing clothes that they are able to get rid of their defilements. So Buddha said they are all Sila Vrutta. They are wrong. Sila means they believe it is a good thing, but it is not. It is not those are rites and rituals which must be abandoned. That's what the Buddha said. Okay?
Okay. The second virtue is Ujupatipanno. Disciples of the Buddha take the straight road, the short and direct and honest road without delay. They are not crooked. And on the eightfold path. Hence, Ujupatipanno. One has to take the determination, I shall do this, I shall not do this, in practice. There were other disciples who took to self-mortification or sensual pleasure, which is the wrong practice. Buddha's disciples take to the practice of mindfulness according to the 4 Satipatthana. They give up attachment to the 5 aggregates. They see anicca, dukkha, anatta of body and mind and of the aggregates. They practice controlling of observing sense objects. Example, sights, sounds, smell, taste, touch, and memory of past and future.
That is controlling the sensory stimulation. That just because the eye is there, you don't see everything. You see only what you want to see. You don't see everything. Just because the ear is there, you don't hear everything. You hear only what you want to hear. So, because these sensors are open, they are open to anything and everything. So the Buddha said, be controlled in your senses. That is to say, don't take in everything that you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or what the memory brings. You have to sift it and take only what is necessary and good. Rest of it is tosh. Don't take it. That is sensory control, sense control. That is that Buddha advised not to control the senses. Just because the senses are there, don't use them indiscriminately. Okay?
Okay. It goes on, Bhikkhuni, to explain the ordained community lives by alms and do not accept gold and silver, animals, etc. They do not live by deception or plunder, etc. They have to be satisfied with little, not possess many things and carry much weight. They go about like the birds who carry only the weight of wings, carrying only bowl and robes. They do not observe minor details of others, features such as hair, eyes, walk, etc., that entice them.
Yeah, that's the Sanga guna you are talking about. That the ordained community are very careful about their behavior. Okay?
Yes, they practice sati sampajanna. They give up ritual sex. They spend the day developing meditation,
That's,
samadhi.
that's disturbance.
Can you hear me, Bhikkhuni?
Now it's okay. There was a disturbance.
Yes, yes. Sorry
Uh,
about that. We fixed it.
okay.
Okay. So they spend the day developing meditation, samadhi, and samatha vipassana.
So
Some
these are the
practice.
monks. Sorry, these are the monks who were living during that time, who were really bound for nibbana. So they didn't live a worldly life. They lived a very virtuous life, and they are the Sanga, having the Sanga guna. Okay.
Okay. Some practice dutanga, ascetic practices, which the Buddha acclaimed as helping towards the practice. There are 13 dutanga practices. One
Duta.
may dutanga.
Yes.
One may practice one or many. Example, Pansukulika, wearing patched robes picked up that have been thrown away, covering corpses, etc. There are quite a few of them, Bhikkhuni. Shall I read them out or will you
Yeah,
take?
there are quite a lot of them, 13 of them, just for information. That is people, monks who are Pansukulika. Pansu means pus, means dust. Dust laden, thrown away clothes. They stitch and wash and make robes. So they don't wear good and new robes. They wear only those patched robes which they, but during the time of the Buddha, clothes were very difficult to get. So, not like now, but now nobody does that pansakolika because clothes are easily, robes are available. Okay,
Okay. Shall I move on to Nyaya
yes,
Patipanno?
yeah. Those are,
Oh,
are you doing all of the, um, those ten
the Dutangas are here, Bhikkhuni. I can read them out. Shall I do that?
okay, if you like.
Okay. So one is Pansakulika, you explained. The next one is Techi Varikanga.
Echivarikanga means Tunsiura. They have to, these are really meant for monks. Maybe we will say it later on because this is a lay society we are talking to. Maybe
Okay.
you get on with that others. If there's
Nyaya
time,
Patipanna.
can. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So the third virtue is Nyaya Patipanna. They
Uh,
follow the law, the Nyaya, the eightfold path, the middle way, avoiding the extremes of self mortification and sensual pleasures. They believe in rebirth. They get rid of fetters and defilements. They practice so that it takes them towards Nibbana, the ending of suffering.
that is
Nyaya,
yeah, that is Nyaya. They always follow the law. Law means the eightfold path. So Nyaya Patipanno are those monks who follow the eightfold path and then they become enlightened arahant. That's the Nyaya Patipanna. They who follow the path, the law. Okay?
okay. The fourth virtue is Samichi Patipanna, showing respect to elderly, good and noble people by attending to their needs, being at their service, speaking
So,
words of comfort and friendliness, working with loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, and equanimity in an approvable way. In an appropriate way.
so this Samichi කියන ගරු කරන්න කියන එක. So Samichi Patipanno is the monks, the real good monks are kind and they respect each other. They speak with in moderation. They don't shout. They speak and then they behave very well. Samichi means meaning giving respect and becoming humble and good. That is samichi, satutu samichi. That is, you are relaxed with people. You are not on a high pedestal. You meet people at in a in a easy way. Okay.
Okay, there's a little bit more there.
Hmm.
They do not overdo or underdo. Monks do not cultivate by cutting down trees, digging soil, etc. They eat what is served only. They take the discipline happily. They are kind and courteous. Their conduct is blameless. Supporting the ordained community amounts to the long standing of Dhamma.
Hmm.
Okay. The fifth virtue is Ahuneya. The disciples of the Buddha are worthy of getting gifts, carrying them from far. People give regularly. They deserve gifts. They give gifts of food and drink of best quality, better than what they themselves eat and drink. They give with respect.
So these Arya Sangha can receive any good gift given by the lay people. That is Ahuneya. Okay.
Okay. Then Pahuneya is the disciples offer gifts fit for guests of honor, unlike gifts given to the poor and beggars. They
Uh,
get more merit. By giving the monks and nuns, the enlightened Sangha may be found among them.
so you have to give them with respect, not like giving a beggar who is asking something. So you give monks with respect. They deserve the respect because they are virtuous in their conduct. Okay.
Okay. The seventh virtue is Dakkineya. Those that believe in rebirth and karma give gifts to monks and nuns because they get more merit than giving others. It yields results now and in the future births.
That is to say, when you support the Sangha, the Dhamma will be alive in the world. But if you support old people or animals, or you can give anybody. But giving the Sangha is very special because you support the community. That means they will carry the Dhamma ahead, and they will also uh, themselves they will practice the Dhamma, and that means when you give the Sangha, it is better than giving anybody else. So there's more merit in giving Sangha than giving other people or animals. Okay.
Yes, there is the Buddha speaks of dana kata, which is a basic requirement that leads towards virtue and concentration of the mind, free of defilements. Those that are not generous cannot develop virtue and concentration.
So dana kata is giving. Giving is good to anybody, but it gets greater merit by giving the Sangha. Okay.
Okay. The eighth quality virtue is Anjali Karaniya. People worship and show respect by worshipping with clasped hands on the head. They respect by worshipping the disciples of the Buddha,
So
especially with shaven head.
yeah, with the shaven-headed monks are respected. People worship them at their feet. Even today in Sri Lanka, we find that they don't treat like in equal terms, but the monks are specially well treated. They are worshipped, and then people respect them. So that is Anjali Karaniyo. Anjali means Angeli, the with folded arms. you respect the mm, the monks with fold with their head, with their hand on their head. They worship the Sanga. That is Anjali Karaniya means Angili, Anjali is Angili with the uh, uh, with worship. They respect the Sangha. Okay.
There's a little bit more, Bhikkhuni, about worshipping mother and father and elders are specially mentioned. They are not treated in equal terms because children are indebted to parents for their upbringing.
Mhm. Yes, not only to the Sangha, but even to parents and elders, we have to show respect because they are more educated and they have helped us a great deal. So, generally, we don't treat them like equals. You have to treat them as a, a superior. So, parents, monks, elders, you can, but in America and these places, they are called teacher by their first name, but not here in Sri Lanka in the Buddhist parlance. The teacher is a highly respected person. The doctor, the teacher, and all those people are highly respected, and especially the parents and elders and relations, elderly relations. They make uh, uh, they always respect elderly relations and parents because the parents have done so much, and also these relations have a special binding to us, unlike outsiders. So somehow relations are also elders. We have to care for them. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu. There's one, the last virtue is Anuttarang Punya Kettang. It means it is a supreme field of merit that yields great harvests. Just as one sows seed in fertile field and gets a bigger harvest, one may give the four requisites to the Sangha and expect great benefits in terms of merit. Giving clothes, robes, food, dwelling, and medicine are the four requisites to the Sangha. It also means that giving dana to others, example, children's homes, old age homes, is good, but not as much as giving the enlightened Sangha because they keep the Dhamma alive in the world.
Okay. I think we
And
have.
yes, those are the 9 virtues of the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhikkhuni. I think, yes, the time has come. It's 10:30
Uh,
now.
yeah, okay. Thank you very much because you are taking my I have no uh, you are doing my work in saying all those things. So it is easy for me. Thank you very much, Sani. And Dilshan, he has got me a special gadget and I find that I can hear very well, and I hope my voice comes clear to you also.
Yes, very well. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much for all the help you are giving me and making it a nice Sunday morning discussion. So now we share merit with the divine beings. Akasatta Chabumata Devanaga Maitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chilang Rakantu Lokasasana. May the divine beings share the merit that we have made during this 1 hour. Our minds were free from greed, hatred, and ignorance. Our minds were full of non-greed, non-hate, and wisdom. So we have made good karma, which we now offer to the divine beings to share and be happy with with our merit that we are giving, and may they protect the world, especially at this crisis period. Thank you very much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhikkhuni. Thank you for participating.